How are you guys doing? I hope you're having a great day. I gotta be honest, I'm still kind of half asleep, but I'm really eager to get started today. Since I didn't make any videos yesterday, I'm really, like I said, glad to be here. So just kind of getting started. Oh, and for anyone curious, no, I actually didn't end up finishing Yu-Gi-Oh! Yesterday. I almost did. I have a couple episodes left. I was always a fan of Bakura as a kid, even though he barely had screen time. So when I found out that he has his own arc, you can imagine how excited I was, or am. So anyways, let's get to this, though. From Twitter, Shizu, shouts out to Shizu in Bet Delta, says, "Calm down, sir. It's just a drawing." What we have here, guys, is a Japanese artist, Eda, who was making art of indigenous people. There you go. They go on to say in their apology that they just like the culture, they like the appearance and all that, and they have fun doing the art. But of course, you know, to people on Twitter, what they see is an artist that is a perfect target for bullying and harassment. That's what's going on here. That's what Twitter does. Terrible stuff. And they always do it under the guise of, not always, let me take that back. Sometimes they just overtly bully people. But oftentimes, probably more often than the other, they hide it under the guise of, well, I'm doing the right thing. I'm virtue signaling. I'm standing up for people. No, you're not. You're just a bully. You're a toxic bully. And here's what one such bully says. "I saw this person's art. A Japanese person whose entire feed is appropriated art of various indigenous peoples for the first time today, and I'm glad that so many people are criticizing them, as it seems like they've been doing this for a while now. This is not an okay or appropriate way to show appreciation for oppressed cultures, to use them as aesthetics void of context, to build your brand." Wow. You know, I can start questioning, like, what context do you want around this? How could it be better? But this person doesn't really care. They're just a bully. And the irony is that I did a search for this tweet, and I couldn't find it. It seems like it's deleted. So, you know, this person says that they're glad this other person is getting a bunch of backlash. They end up getting backlash. They start, you know, protecting their account or deleting their tweets and all that. Because, again, they don't really stand by any of this. They just had a chance to bully someone. And when people were calling them out for being toxic and terrible, they went on the defensive, hiding and, you know, deleting stuff probably and all that. I don't know exactly what occurred. Like I said, I just couldn't find the tweet, so you can make your assumption from there. Now, let's take a look at the artist's apology, because they did kind of apologize, unfortunately. Here it is. By the way, if you are on Twitter and you like this artist's art, that's their tag right there, at Eda_log. Anyways, Edalog says, "I've read various comments about my work in the last few days. Thank you so much. I have a lot of things on my mind. I don't want to be misunderstood as ignoring you, so I'll write about it here. I'm in Japan and have only recently become aware of the concept of cultural appropriation. I need to think more deeply about this issue. No, you don't. You don't. And I don't think it's appropriate for me to mention this, so I'll leave it to your values to conclusion. I apologize for the many errors in my knowledge and expression of Native American, but I'm positively trying to get to know them better. I read their... Okay, let me stop there again. This artist probably knows more about it than the people complaining, acting, again, like they care about this stuff. They really don't. The artist says, "I read their dictations, not from internet knowledge. There are experience and historical facts here that are very informative. I genuinely love their culture and will continue to learn and study their expressions so as not to be disrespectful." You are letting people... the artist... Hold on, there's one more, actually. Artist says, "I'm not good at talking, but I thought this was important. Lastly, please don't fight with anyone about this. Thank you." The problem is the artist doesn't realize that apologizing to the Twitter mob never works. You need to stand firm. You need to not apologize. But the main reason I think the artist is apologizing here is because the artist is confused. The artist thinks that he's done something wrong, legitimately, when from what I've seen, he hasn't. And to be fair, again, I haven't looked at all this person's art or their Twitter profile. I only know what Shizu posted and what the artist is saying right here. I'm not doing like a deep dive into this guy over a Twitter mob, which the reasonable assumption would be that the Twitter mob has no merit, because again, Twitter mobs usually don't have merit. But ultimately, let me show you what this apology got the artist. Responses like this. Go figure. This person is so mad that the artist had the audacity to apologize. Oh, and they're also so mad that the person who started the witch hunt against the artist got backlash. And guess what's happening now? This person is trying to say that the person who started the witch hunt is the victim. That's how it always is. Every single time. The people will start a witch hunt, they'll get backlash, and then they'll play the victim acting like they're in the wrong. It's disgusting. Let me read this for you. So this weirdo says, "The sheer amount of people, quote, retweeting this being like, don't worry, you did nothing wrong. It's fine. Don't listen to the mob, is appalling. Google is a free resource. This is such a blatant non-apology. It's none of yours right to forgive this. do better. So that's the thing. First of all, a lot of people aren't saying that they forgive the artist. They're saying the artist did nothing wrong to begin with. And this person then goes on to say, by the way, a little bit more. They say, the original artist who pointed out how messed up the appropriative art is native and was so harassed he had to lock. So let me stop there. They're native according to who? Their Twitter bio? That doesn't make it reality. I just don't believe you. As I always default to, the reasonable person standard, with Twitter, you have a bunch of toxic people that lie all the time. If you put something in your bio, I'm more inclined to believe it's not true. That's just how Twitter is. Sorry, you guys turned the platform into that. And it's also Twitter's fault. I'm not defending Twitter. I'm just saying, Twitter is a joke of a platform. I don't take any of it seriously at all. And I believe that's the reasonable person standard with Twitter. And anyways, this is so ironic. Like I said, the artist who was harassing the Japanese artist gets backlash. When the mob comes their direction, they get all mad. They were fine when the mob was going after the Japanese artist. But again, when they got a little bit of backlash for starting a mob, then suddenly they're the victim. They protect their account and, everything is so wronged for them. No. They started it. They're the bully. Get over yourself. Anyways, they end with this. You just found out about it? Check your notifs. You condemn the people harassing native and indigenous folk for being rightly upset. And we'll end by returning to the picture that started it all. This image. So terrible, I guess. What a joke, man. What a joke. I have a strong hunch that most indigenous people would see this and they would be like, oh, it's pretty good art. That's pretty cool. It would be a very simple conversation. If they're into art, maybe they take it a bit further and be like, oh, yeah, what did you use to make this or whatever? I mean, these people on Twitter are so ridiculous, dude. Thanks for tuning in, though. I hope you found this amusing. It's a fun video to get started back at it. I only took a day off. It's not like that big of a deal, I guess, but it feels like it's been a while. Now, I'm glad to be back here again. I'll see you guys soon for the second, and thank you very much for tuning in.